What's up, Biker fans? I'm out here riding the all-new 2021 Rockshox SID Ultimate. This is their 35mm stanchion, 120mm travel answer to the lightweight trail fork category that they have been noticeably absent from for the past few years. This isn't even the lightest one though. There's a 100mm travel XC race specific version called the SID SL Ultimate that dips as low as 1,333 grams, making it the new lightweight champion to beat. Let's take a closer look because everything about these forks is brand new. So before we get ahead of ourselves, I want to point out that little blue shock right back there. That's the new SID Lux, a lightweight rear shock designed to pair perfectly with the SID SL and SID forks for cross-country and short travel trail bikes. We'll get to the tech details on that in a minute. I want to start up front with the forks and in particular at the lowers, and we'll work our way up from there. You're going to notice more chiseling and a lot of boxy angular sections up around the crown, and that's to keep the fork really stiff. A lightweight fork is no good if it's just a noodle on the trails, and this one seems to hold its own really well. We noticed very little fore-aft flex here under hard braking and little stutter bumps, and torsionally it's pretty stiff and perfect for ripping around corners. There's two big differences between the super light SL version and this 120mm travel trail version. The biggest is the stanchion diameter. So this one gets 35mm stanchions, the SL gets 32mm stanchions. The SL also sits a little narrower, so that means shorter crown arms, less of a lever arm to create flex because they wanted to shave just absolutely every possible gram out of it. And the way they did that was notching the lower legs, and that let them bring everything in tighter, keep it stiffer, shed more weight. It's a trick we've seen on other super light forks, and it just works. So the other thing that is new for all of the models is the new machined alloy crown and steerer. And it's a super angular design that sheds a ton of weight, keeps it stiff, but it's also the full replacement for any carbon option. There is no more carbon crown, SID SL, SID World Cup, SID Ultimate, no more carbon crowns. This replaces it, but the cool thing is, they say it's as light or even maybe even hair lighter than the carbon version, and because it's a lot cheaper and easier to manufacture than the carbon, it keeps the price almost exactly the same. These models only go up $20 over the prior year model for the top level Ultimate versions. Believe it or not, the biggest weight savings come from the all new Charger Race Day damper, and because that's tucked away inside there, we're going to head into the lab to check it out. This is the all-new Charger Race Day damper, and this is where the majority of the weight savings come from on the new SIDs. They were able to shave more than 100 grams off the Charger 2.1 damper to create the Race Day version. So it's basically done by making everything possible smaller. You notice the shaft diameter is smaller. Everything is like got a healthy dose of drillium. You know, the end cap here, the piece that threads into the fork crown here. It's all machined out, super small. The negative no longer gets like a full length negative knob. It gets this little removable top thing. So if you wanted to save 5 grams, you can pop that off, but it snaps on super secure. I've been riding with mine attached the whole time. It's never even come close to coming off. The cool thing is the little L-bend at the end not only makes for a nice handle to turn the rebound adjustment, but that is the tool that will stick in to adjust the rebound on the SID rear shock. It's basically a 2.5mm Allen key, so any 2.5mm will work for the rear shock rebound adjustment. Another big weight savings is simply the reduced volume in this means less fluid, and of course fluid is heavy generally, but you can see it still inflates the bladder as you compress the shock, so it looks and works just like the other ones, except with damping that's designed specifically for cross-country applications. This is the one for the 100mm SID SL. It's essentially for the 120 that I've been riding, just a longer version of it. What's really cool about this though is that if you have an older SID laying around, you simply replace the other Charger damper with this one, and you have 100 grams or more dropped off of your old SID, plus the latest damping technology with the newer Maxima Plush fluid and the smoother seals for less friction. So in theory, it's not just an upgrade in weight savings. You can upgrade your old fork with better performing system. So the real question is, how do all of these advancements in the much lighter weight translate into trail feel? How does this thing ride? For that, let's go back to the trail and get out on the bike. first thing you notice is just how light the front end of the bike is when you add the new SID to it. It makes it really easy to whip the bike back and forth through the tight and twisties. Throwing it around the corner is so easy. It makes it really maneuverable, and it just adds a new livelihood to the bike. It's also really easy to pop it up and over logs, roots, and rocks. The twist lock remote makes it a no-brainer to lock out front and rear simultaneously, even on the shortest little sprints. Rockshox says the new Debonair air spring is designed to keep you sitting high in the travel. This produces a very buoyant feel that's really supportive on the G-outs, drops, and big hits, but honestly, I'm still kind of dialing it in. Our trails were really wet this winter, so to get more testing time on it, I headed into the urban jungle. If you want to see how well a fork handles big, repetitive hits, there's nothing quite like ripping down a good set of stairs, then turning around and smashing right back up them at full speed. The SID maintains its composure hit after hit, and it offers a lot of support coming off of jumps and drops. Where I'm still fiddling is trying to get the small bump sensitivity the way I like it, which is soft. The new SID 120 seems to favor support over suppleness, but with the ability to tune the air volume, I suspect I'll get it closer to my ideal soon enough. It's worth noting though, that for a fork this light, it handles the big hits and rough trail really, really well. I mean, at the end of the day, what we really want is a bike that's light, nimble, easy to climb with, but capable on the downhills. And the new SID 120 travel fork just completely lightens up the front end to where it's almost feathery. It's easy to lift up over stuff. It's bombing down the hills, you know, soaking up all the bumps, and really it's kind of nothing not to like. It's stiff, like it handles the tracks the way you want it to, and I can't tell any flex even during braking. Like trying to look down at the front axle, it just doesn't really budge. It's pretty impressive. And of course, when you can make a chassis stiff, it's going to perform better because you're not ending up with a lot of friction on the stanchions from flex. So while we don't really have a way of measuring that here, I can tell you that it feels pretty smooth. And of course, I'm a big fan of anything that'll drop weight off my bike without sacrificing performance. So I'm digging this thing, and on the trail it does a remarkably good job of making the front end just super feathery, super easy to lift up over stuff, but still just plow through things as you've seen when you don't feel like lifting it up, which is nice. But sometimes you get lazy, and sometimes you need the fork to do a little bit of the work for you. So far as the rear shock goes, it seems pretty good. It came delivered on this Trek Fuel EX, which is not a bike that I've spent a lot of time on in its latest iteration, so it's a little hard for me to say what exactly the shock is doing compared to the suspension, but I have no complaints. Generally speaking, I've liked Trek's rear suspension in the past, and I like this one, and of course I like that I can shed a lot of weight there too, comparatively speaking. If you're looking for a great way to lighten up your bike, or you just don't like the color orange, give the new SIDs a try. For the full written review with photos, actual weights, and everything else, head over to bikerumor.com. Just search Rockshox, or check for the link in the description of this video wherever you're watching it. And we'll have another post with all the tech specs and everything from the launch coverage there too. Thanks for watching. Hit that subscribe button and we'll see you next time.